Just gonna start recording. So I think in the previous class, what our expectation was. So lightning date table with a sorting variable to do it. So additional to this page initials, I'll add it later, and that which I'm gonna consider to be an advanced class, or sorry, advanced LWC. I'll make a short video of it and then I'll send you. Otherwise, LWC recorded form will see. How to do LWC without an apex also, I'll make sure. I wanted to create some scenario um, and then do the stuff. Already we're able to search and display the results. That already we're doing it. And also we are trying to do a sorting also we're doing it. So it is working fine. So let's do this basic one of LDS where we try to hit a record and then we try to save a record or try to create a new record. So we'll do this one now for sure. And then few things we have to talk about. So which is what is this custom events? What is this content callback? Any such examples we have, we will do it. So toast events anyway, we're gonna do it. Display component with another component. This also will do it. Actually, if you see one Lightning app, we have Lightning page. You have two components been already included here. So one component with the other component in the same Apex page. So that is already there. But this doesn't have any connectivity. So we can have one component embedded with the other component, so we can do it. So simple examples. Let's do it. Not a big deal. Otherwise, we have to check something on the register events, dispatch events. Any good example? I mean, um, register events, dispatch events, or content callback. I would put them into a simple example which I wanted to explain. So there it will suffice, I think, because few things I wanted to advance. So till now, whatever we're doing is just kind of a baby learning in LWC. Like if you see, okay, I'm doing something querying and then I'm displaying it. I have a template, I have to do it. So if you see generally in LWC, what are things are required? Um, so I need to prepare a core structure for this LWC. Specifically, what are the key things in it should be. So like that, if you think, so first very important is understanding the basic JavaScript. That's a prerequisite. And the second thing is about the skills that any component that we wanted to create. So in the past, I've mentioned here, for example, HTML is required. So what you're going to do, data there. And JS something that you want to write some logic. Are you So here we are trying to write a wire. So basically JS we are writing to do a logic of browser side activities and Apex class record for any server side activities. Like you're trying to perform a query and get the results, or you're trying to send the params where they're trying to create a record. So all that we do it. So unless otherwise here already a difference we've seen here. For example, any LWC components will have this stuff. So you can create your own versions and you can import them. Um, so likewise, what I want to do is I want to do make something. You search a movie or you try to find for a movie database. So it'll go. The URLs are available in the over the internet, but I want to use them effectively, show a good UI, and using the out of box screens only, not something different. CSS. So you will be searching and then you fetch, and then with along with the movie, which images is it a South Indian Hollywood movie, whatever it is, we're gonna search and display in the UI. So that will be a good piece to work with, and that has integration service. So we'll see that. For that, we may use few things here. So it could be component registry or listening to the events and doing the stuff. So I want to put all together the stuff, so whatever we've learned so far. How a component to be written, basic component, and then we can utilize the components whichever the existing things in the playground. So let's say you want a form, you want to data table, you want to write an input, you want to do data binding, you want to make the properties reactive. Um, so for example, other wire track, so API. So these are the couple of things which you seen. So all this we're gonna combine and we're gonna put into one, and we wanted to make something that decent component. So I wanted to explain that for 15 20 minutes, but not in this class. Later something else where I would try to make when I get time on Monday. So that is something on advance of LWC. LWC, we know basic things. So advance of LWC is what could be. So a component within a component to some other component, or you are listening for some component, or you are making hitting to a service. I want to display that data dynamically. So how the event propagation happens. So what is the life cycle hoops of the LWC? So this all will help you out in terms of interview questions. So though it will be a latest advanced till what the LWC can do, so we will try it out that. And recently they have bought LWC had also a test class type of written to be. So we seen a class for Apex class to write a test class, and we also have components like LWC also can have test cases. So jest is something that we have to do. jest, which helps you to test the components of your LWC. I mean, this is very recently they've introduced any components. Still now you can deploy directly to production. So there is no test cases required. So recently they have just trying to have a bring it up the test cases and just basically checking that your component is working perfect or not. Um, so those are things we have in LWC. Otherwise, we're good. So I just wanted to use one of the LDS mechanism where you don't write an Apex code and try to use this stuff. So for this also already we have in a playground, we can use them. So go to the LWC framework and use any one of the LWC. It could be record API, it could be a record edit form, etc. Read only form, anything that you can have. Suppose is what I wanted to show is how do you deploy your R to the GST or what is that Git. So the basic configuration, let's do it. Mm, So LDS LWC. Mm. So this is a complete developer guide we have for the LWC. So a few things from here. I'm gonna do it research and then make a component ready. So how one component would be connected to another component. Either it is communicating with events or is it having some few things security lockers. In what time I will provide the data and what are the key things they have. And otherwise, um, few things that if at all you wanted to migrate the other components, how do you do it? So debugging the web components or testing the web components that they have. So recently all this thing is about it. So very important to understand is this LWC developer guide is very important. So Salesforce is growing very faster and it's what is it? It's vast. So yeah, LWC developer guide. So there will be a lot of upcoming skills to be a Salesforce side. So it could be an instant. Instant is one of the key things that has been growing rapidly. So what is it? Einstein Nantex, Einstein Cloud, Einstein Prediction Builder, Einstein Chatbots. So a couple of them specific on Einsteins we have because they are all involved with the AI, machine learnings, artificial, yeah. So AI along with natural processing, sentiment analysis. So a lot of topics that have been brought into the Einstein stuff. It just based on the content that you're gonna do it, it says predicts whether you are writing a positive statement or negative statement for sentiment analysis. For chatbot, we would have been pre-configured saying that what is like if you ask a question to Siri or to a Google Assistant, how they're answering the questions intelligently, the questions whatever you ask. So that type of chatbots also now it has been ready. We're using the Einstein. So why we have to have this because our client can communicate in a chatbot to our custom, I mean to our bot framework. So they can ask questions based on that. If it is relevant, they're going to answer back, or else so it asks a questions. Should I raise a ticket for you? So you have this concern. Should I go proceed? So these are the questions that we have to frame for the chatbots, and that you would experience in recent times. So many of the clients who coming in say they're expecting to have a chatbot, at least an instant predictions or analytics, or whether your opportunity may win or lose. Who knows? So they're expecting that also to in order to just get out of it. How we can predict the customers whether they will close the deal or not. So instant is one of the key place where it's going on. So that is would be an advanced skill after the LWC. But instant takes are most on to the point like configuration should be. You need not write a program much, but even they also have an extension of program. Mm, it's all about configuring things and making few things ready for you. But they are already available as a beta versions and few kind of a testing or like how developer we have gone already and tested. So something like this we have, but not for a long time. Just for the understanding, you can go and test it. So that's about instant analytics. So now, just let's go to this and quickly create a component and see. And we wanted to say that our record is created, success toast is going to come up. And so for this, nothing we're going to do much. So there's already a UI and components are ready because we know that we're going to not do simple things like a create a record or view a record in LWC. So that's the reason I just wanted to show very beginning to you guys with a data table. Of course, data table is one of the very important. What if your records which are showing here, whatever the record which are showing here, it is has a meaningful things where it is completely doing a custom UI stuff. So you are writing a component that has to have a search and then you have to have a table. So then this makes a very good use case. Otherwise, so look at this, just having an ID and name, and then you're trying to get a record. So this is fine. So when we would get this type of UI, why we require this type of UI if we already have a create record stage? So that question should come up. So if you're dealing with the custom UI things and then overall a custom a design page, so there you require a form. So there that in that particular page you cannot get your lightning page, account page, contact page. You can't get there. If you're trying to get also, how do you drag and drop the record layout there? If you're doing an app page can contain there what of the couple of components can drag and drop them. For example, here, so this is the custom app page you think. So multiple components are here. On the top, you want to get a quick customers. So then instantly you're showing next what is the results to be. So if you all have the next process of the content here, so you have to write to the what do you say the UI stuff where what are the couple of input parameters that you want to take to create a contact. Of course, the real contact which you have here, what does it does is it creates me, it shows me basically what do you say in the UI wise if you see creating a contact, it shows me this many fields. I may not require this many fields. I want to have a quick contact references. So in that case, I would have suffice with 3 to 4 fields. Overall this contact only last name is required, and that is enough to create a record. So like that, I would have a very simple case to create with the 4 fields to create a record of this contact. So then I need to have a UI, right? In order to have 4 fields, I can't get this all these fields and then do stuff. Maybe it's you write a component like this, you create a record, I mean where you take an input and you try to deal with the records. And okay, so moreover the contact that you're going to create, is it an out of box contact or out of box means without any references you're trying to do it, or you wanted to connect with only onto the account page. When you go, you get this contact page to be visible. Why? Because so they require a parent ID like this. So I want to have a contact created under the this particular account. So something like this we can have. So it depends on the contact that you're looking for or idea that you're looking for. So all they're trying to do that would be there. So look at this an example. Create record is the out of box feature. They already have it. So we don't write anything for this. We don't write any Apex class for this. So why? Because create record itself is in a so if you go to lightning record UI record API, so this itself solves the problem of do not go to an Apex class, try to create with this record API options. That could be create record, and same if you pass an ID, that will be updating record. So multiple things like CRUD operations all we can have here only. Then why we want to have toast messages? You are showing success messages and which object you are dealing with, account object. So all we got the account object description there, and the name field indicates this is the name field I want to take it inside. So they're saying that account ID initially it is blank. When you directly place in some UI page, automatically it go value goes it's here, the record ID. Name is already blank, then which you have to enter. So on name change, where whatever the value that you're changing it, so the values are assigned here. If ID is undefined, ID means what? If you go to any record, you'll have an ID, right? So I'm gonna place inside the page layout here. So this is not for the app page. This is for the record page. Why I'm saying for record page? Um, if you place an ID, you want an ID to be modified, like how we had an aura controller. Also, we went and placed the components inside the record page. Same consideration here also. So create account is a method, like instantly they're doing it, and they're taking the input from this object fields, and they are having the ID. And look at this, they have a dispatch event. So dispatch event is something that instantly the content you're trying to do it. If all the values are passed, fire an event, so that's a success. So that is what we say dispatch. So a generic understanding of dispatch is something whether you have placed an order and the order is placed. What this is, the product is dispatched. So what do you mean by dispatch? It's moved from that particular location to another location. So the logic of your core creating a record has been done, and you are dispatching for a toast message to success. So that is understanding of this dispatch event. So even fast instantly after some activity is done. So they also have see try catch. They have dot then and dot catch. So it is something that okay dot try dot catch. No, it is dot then and dot catch. So what does this indicates? It's a try catch blocks. In LWC we have this stuff. So earlier we're just doing data and then we played right data comma errors. Something like this we are playing with then and the catch. So here account we know that the record has been created for that, and error always we have to identify what error has been going on. So now to do this activity, we wanted to have a simple record input. We're going to take it as this and standard create form we have. So I don't want to spend much time because it's already available in the net and you can go practice anytime. So let me copy this content and then do the new what do you say a component creations here. What the name is components LDS create record is the component they are created here. So what I want to do is I let go here and then under the LWC, so we're going to create a component. So the component name is, I think it's just this one, LDS create record. So I given a small letter at the very beginning. So let's see. What happened to create letter web component? Oh, so at the last I had a space, so that's the reason it's capturing that. LDS create record. So the component is already there. So what you have to do is LDS create record. So I'm going to go to the LDS HTML form and have this template there ready. So lightning create card is LDS card and standard record type is the record. So which appears to be something. And I want to have saying that lightning input ID. So why it has been disabled is we don't want it to modify anything on the account ID. If our account ID is already been present, or else it's okay fine to give just the name and then try to insert the value and create an account. So this UI will help you out to either you have a record, it'll try to modify, or if you don't have a record, so we're gonna create a new record. So that's the ultimate of this. So save this, go to JS. It's in the JS already. LDS create record, we have it. So that's a component which is created. So we're going to import this LWC. Create record API is the one for create purpose we are using it. And toast is for success messages, which object and which field. So all these three, all this four stuff that we have to import for in order to create a record. And then, so LDS create record is the class we have. What is the key things we have is account ID if you have already present, and the name field where you try to enter the value. So how do you are popping up this value? So based on the button that you create, handle change happens. So handle change is calling whom? So they are trying to have the values of the create account. So which has true or false, like either they're creating a record or not. Mm. So if you see here, HTML handle change is the input label, whatever we have. So the value has been keeping an on change, something a value you change on change. We're calling this even. So the value has been placed there. So you, the moment you click on a create button, so it is going to call a create button, create account logic. So that account logic is this create account, and so what happens is it has true or false state where try catch we have it. So then and then catch is something try catch we have it. So let me copy this whole bunch. So share this input from the input text box, and this is for the button to create a logic. So if the field is whatever you have given, so where do we get this name? So we get from this here. This dot name dot field name. Yesterday also we used fields name field dot field name. So this dot name indicates okay we are assigning the field there. And for the record input, yes we are taking the object dot object AP name. And what are the fields that we got? All that we're gonna use this. So then create record is the method at the above we have used it. So what is input is required? So we are preparing the record input like which object, which are fields. And the fields, what are the values that we are already having it. So all this priorly we have been configured. Now you're passing the record input. And that's how we're saying that, hey, this record, if they have ID, okay, dispatch success. If they don't have an ID, say that something are wrong, including a record. So any questions, guys? Or do you have any questions? Okay, so no problem. So there's a questions. Now the component has been added here to the GS and the record HTML we have. So what is additional stuff that we're missing here is your meta file should be true here, and to which layouts all you are applicable. Lightning record page, home page, something that you have to give there. For this, I wouldn't have this meta files ready to expose this where the components to display. So I'm writing right away that LDS. So I'm just saying this. So it is true, available is true, and then you can have any of the page, and then deploying this component. So once the component has been deployed, so let's go to our new page and come to an accounts. So from account, I wanted to have world one, welcome to LWC we had. On account page, I'm going to modify it. Go to record edit page. Yeah. So if you see at the last, there is a LWC components, LDS create as a record we have used. So I'm going to drag and drop them here. So it has an option. So LDS create a record, and then we have this option. So what happens is the moment we try to create a record, it just places here the ID. If you don't want to be a record to be placed, first we'll place here, and then we'll go to the app page and we'll paste there also. Save. So come back. So you have a ID has been disabled here, and then you have a name. Mm, So McDonald's Street. So this is the account name which I'm doing, McDonald's Street 2.0, which I can say it's ID. So do you see this? So the moment an account is created, you have a success credit toast message at the top, and then ID has been placed, and then the record says it's been done. So we have an approval process that has been saying that, hey, a batch, this has been newly record created. Go just follow them. So this is our approval process that we had. So the instant notifications are getting in. So that's okay. But this LWC component where so just as if you input to create a record and then display success message there. So the moment a record has been created, so it has an ID. It fired a dispatch event to throw the toast messages saying success or failure would happen. So the toast messages would have either success or a failure. So basically, the message says account created. You can have your own customers, whatever you wanted here. And then error, what you're showing is it's like a catcher, right? The catcher, what we have that we are throwing here. Suppose you're giving the a blank value for this account, then I would throw an error message to you. So that way it is. So now let's place this component inside the app page so that which we're creating it. It's not getting inside the account, so it's separately independent here. I think here also it's semi-independent. We don't take any reference of this guys. Just like we're getting a record here. So let's go to the yeah, this page. I'm going to delete page here. So there's LWC LDS create record. I'm going to throw this here and save it. So that was the record page, and this is the app page that we have. So now again, I'm going to say is MCD and the so the moment I create a record, you see this success message, and then here you have an ID here. So look at this. This is a page. We have a multiple components here. So like this, we can have no more components, and then you can have a divide them as looking like on Gmail. Also, you can do it. Like at the left hand side, you have a inbox and the stuff, and the right hand side, you can have a boxes where frames. You like the moment you click on one record, you're trying to show that respective informations. So that is what I want to make something for movie reviews. So our movie is check. I'll have a search bar like this to check on the movie. So the moment you click on the movie record, I would show you some detail about the movie at the right side. So a few things I want to have. That is open source APIs. We're getting it. So I want to just do that and show you guys. So which I would spend some 15 minutes in advance. LWS coach. That will be separate recording for you guys. Um, unless so create a component, deploy, test it. It is working. Which page? App page, record page. Try it out there, and then are we able to deploy the components? Creating a record, displaying a record. So so these are the few things that we have to understand at the very beginning of a basic of LWC. So an advanced class, how do you understand between a component to component, how propagation happens, how event passes, what are things that we have it. So here only we have tried to use this. So for a dispatch event already we used. Now how do we do a registry event? So that maybe in one of the examples that which I'll show, you will get it out. So okay, now the bunch of components we have, how do we deploy these components? So of course you have a change sets to migrate the code from one place to another place, or you have to export the what do you say? For example, this is the MCD dev you say. So same way you would have configured MCD test or MCD UAT. So now you have to place this component. You have to place this component. Maybe copying the LWC the whole component, copying the path, yeah, going to the copy the path and finding the component and just placing into the MCDF to test. So that would be placed there, and you have to right click and then deploy to the source. So that way, this particular components would be deployed in that particular org. So that is one way where easy trick people uses, or else we via the chain set we use it, or any code repositories like Git, other stuff you have, we can do play with them. Here also you're gonna do something now. How do you place or how do you connect or Git with LWC or Git with this or so Git to firstly you have to configure or authenticate and VS Code. So firstly I have to check whether my Git is working or not. So just a minute. Let me sign in to authorize this. So device verification mail has been sent. Please verify your device with this code. Okay, 47041. Yeah. So I want to create a new repository. So the new repository would be to I would say MCD. So I'm gonna put as MCD dev. So this is the R which I'm gonna create a repository. So learning use case. So we can make it as public or a private. I just want it as public. I want to give it for the case. So a couple of snippets we have here. Um, so just create license. I already know. Um, choose which files not to track from a list of templates. Currently, we're not doing any of this. Create repository. Fine. So what I've done is you went to your Git and you're trying to create a new repository called mcd-dev. So what you want to do is you want to initialize and get connected with this. So this is your remote origin, what you can say. So you have to git push u origin. Something like you want to create a new repository in the command line, something you want to push the component to there. All we have this. Okay, so I have to authorize this VS Code. So how do we do a VS Code authorization? So just come to here. So there's a VS Code. Initialize repository. What is this? Oh my god. Of course, this many components we have, that is for sure. I'm just confused where it will gonna update. This org asked me a couple of things. So I will go to undo the changes. Yeah, delete all the files. Now, who is this master? Just one place. I didn't expect this many changes we have there. So what you have to have is you have to initialize the repository. It's just I initialize there, so it has got more because. So what happened is this already we have an extensions for this project wise we have, right. I think it is connected to that and saying to these are the changes that we have to push to project. And which one should be so let me check this. Where this is connecting. Hmm, Visa, US citizen. Oh, how many fields? I think this is our. I'm just like totally down. Is it our project? It's our project only. Let me do one thing. Let me close this stuff and then restart again the VS Code. Or else we'll try to get a new project and then do clone stuff because we have a couple of them here. So it's okay, fine. So just me go to this form's gonna open currently doesn't have a Git repository. You can initialize the repository, which will enable your source control features to power by Git. Firstly, didn't log in at all. Then how do it is gonna do sign up there? Oh, what happened? We should go. So let me check first with the GitHub. Do we have a sign up there? Pull request and issue provider for the GitHub. So this I'm checking for the extension here. So okay, let's go to configuration somewhere. Website will check by this stuff. Visual Studio. Forget. So they will give what is the extension. So based on that extension, let's we go on. Um, so yeah, install the Git pull request extension. Open the Visual Studio here. So I think we have to install this. See, sign in to use the Git pull request issues. So we have to sign in for this. So I'll copy this and where did I authorize it already? Let me do that. So let me copy that link here. So it will authorize me. Continue. So I'm gonna authorize this Git. Authorize GitHub. So VS Code, Kanta, GA, personalizer, repository provide. Okay. Authorize GitHub. Let me continue from here only. So what maximum doing it here? Let's come back to yeah. So create an account, git pull request extension. The topic will demonstrate how to use his favorite GitHub without leaving VS Code. Getting started with the pull request, sign in. So this is what it should be. Clone repository authenticate. So simple it is, but I don't know why. Okay. If this is all gonna be crazy, I'm gonna create a new project. It's okay, fine. Control Shift P, create project with manifest. So standard project. Project name is mcd dev. Get I want to configure here. So learning is a folder. I'm gonna select and then create a mcd git. If this is a org, I want to just do a send activity for the GitHub. Let's see. So I have to wait for a minute because all these are loading newly. SFDS refresh new org has been created. So we don't have any required, no default org. So what is that the point here? You can also directly publish this folder to GitHub, and repository once published, you will have access to source control features powered by GitHub. So if I say publish, the extension GitHub wants to sign into GitHub, allow. Okay. So why is there a code? I'm getting it. There's another Google, guys. The only account for me is the Chrome by default browser temporarily. So apparently the login workflow is broken in Firefox. Same thing for me. What is the solution for this? Seemed like eventually worked, but I didn't expect the need to go through external get a lot slow given. What? Express nothing in actual message. Okay. Oh, generate new token. What is this? So new token is generated. I got to work around by clicking the sign in button and then going to the bottom where sign in to a hub where the base will ask you for a token. If you initialize authorization, click on continue, continue. Hey, authorization successful, you will go to visual page. Hey, this worked. Copy the token, switch back to the base token. The authorized token is here. Okay. Let's copy. Copy the token, switch back to the VS Code. Click signing to go to GitHub button. The status bar. Please paste the token there and there. Okay. What is this? Mismatch data. I will leave over that. Okay. Yeah, authorized token. Copy the token, switch back to the VS Code. Click on signing into GitHub. Click into sign into GitHub. It's already done, no? So that means what? Okay, it's done. Code request, no repository, no issues. If I say publish to GitHub, allow. So it's a success there. Open. Yeah, dev git publish to git creating the first commit. So they're trying to do a commit here. So now let's say the step by step what we're done. So first thing is you should have a git org, or let's say GitHub org. Hmm, I didn't do any source code till now. Christian have done. So just doing a sign up activity between the VS Code and the Git. So Git you have authorized. How did you get authorized? You should have an already an account and you have created a repository there. And what I did is to which particular project that you want to authenticate that we are doing it here. So one extensions we have is so GitHub pull and push request. So that extension we have installed here. And I tried to log in from this VS Code to our GitHub. So that whatever the code that I'm trying to push it, it should go to the respective repositories. So for this I was trying. So then so it is still trying to push the publishing uploading files. It would have a bunch of files actually. So it is trying to do it because our VS Code which have the bunch of activity it will be pushing there. Sign in with your browser. So this initial setup it would take some time. Authorize Git credential manager. This read access, write access, repository, workflow. Okay. Authentication succeeded. So connection between the extensions and there it has been connected. So we are good there now. So we're ready there. So all I wanted to check the personal R where the so repository I'm sitting there which I did. Um, Look at this. This is the project which I'm just doing it on. It's here. mcdev git 37 seconds ago it has been created here. So it's directly created repository for the project which I'm trying to create. You just come here. And do you see this? All this snippet that which you done, been got it up here. Is getting? So currently it doesn't have any what is it scripts or something we don't have. So we have to update them surely. Yeah. Successfully published to this Git. Open it up. Would you like to code to practical run the Git fetch? Yes. I would sometime do the fetch. Okay. Close this up. So now let's come to our project where I didn't have any org setup so far. So authorize this org and sets production. That means what is it login.salesforce.com. So what I want to do here is mcd dev git. So it will ask me to authorize this org. Which org? It is mcd dev org. I have to authorize this. Firstly, what I've did is I just made a connection between this VS Code to Git repository. Why? Because these both guys has to be firstly understood about. Okay, we have to have a repository. We want to push the code. So now whatever we develop a code that we are trying to do here in the project wise. admin@mcd.com. So the moment I authorize this R, so the authorization has happened. Uh, so authorization run successfully. So come here to the manifest. package.xml. I want to retrieve the components that which all we had. When the latestly the components have been get up here, so I would try to push the component there. So this currently has too many of classes because we have written a program so many things. So we are in master now. We are having MCD dev credit for this particular org, and we have connected with Git. So how do you get to know? So you have been logged in. So the moment you click on this, you'll get to know that you have been say, logged in as a Git user. Or if you connect to the Git, you'll get to know the full direction issues, whatever we have in the source there. Null repository is found. So what this indicates? This indicates that okay, what are the recent changes that we're having in? Post all these pulls, so we will get a bunch of components here. So that components will be referred to as a changes here. That means whichever the new files you added here, it'll show here. So the moment you click on here, right? So it is showing that okay, this is the login that you have, and this is manage extension that you have. So logged into Git here also we have SFDC retrieve source also we have worked out. So now all these components which has been came here, it will come to these changes. Why? Because the original set of all the source, it is first set it is posted here. Is that in too many places? I think we've opened it. Let's all close this up. Hmm. So this is the first command that all the bunch of components which is there in the Visual Code Studio as a project it has been taken here. So mc dev git. So that's the project name we have. I think if you see here, mc div git. So this is the project we have. And look at this is the components that we have at the very beginning. Sample or a list of so many. These are all the components that which we created it. Out of that, it has a bundle of information here. So now what we have to do is we have to click on here, and in order to save this project into a repositories, we have to click here. The changes whichever they're saying, right? So 2000 plus changes. You should click on add changes, and then you should give a message called as um, deploy to master, because this is the initial version that we're doing it here. So these many changes we have to stage all, and then you have to click on commit, so that it'll try to push this component to so this git repositories here. Okay, from the beginning what we have done is you need to have a GitHub account. So let's write down here, how do we connect to get from ways. So I would say that go first refer this worked out actually. So the reference link we have here, and the first thing is what it is, we went to this extension. Firstly we have to install this extension. So install this extension, what I can see. Install this extension to your VS Code. So then what it is, you you need to have a GitHub account. Third one is because in order to say that the credentials you have to be worked out with. If token is not been created, so generate a token. So go to profile and generate token, and the token should have full access. After this access token I created only, then it worked out for me. So generate a token full access. So check all the possible that you have there. Just like it's for learning purpose, right? When you get to the project, they will create an account for you. You are not going to do it. So there's an administrative guys up there. They will be creating an account and share the information to you. So generate the token. Now it is all done. So in VS Code, sign in to Git. So then, so the moment you sign in, so they ask you, would you like to create a repository? Because before this all, you need to have your VS Code project should be ready. So VS Code project build. So this is the first thing. So I would say prerequisite. This is our E, and this is referring to this is B. So make sure your VS Code project has been pulled, and then you go to the reference link and then do all the stuff. Would like to create project? If I say yes, so what are the project name? The project that you push, like say MCD dev git. So this would be good here. So you create the private, so you can make it as listed as public. You can make it to public. So then what? So again, you are retrieving the project source, and again staging all the changes, giving commit message, and push to master. So till now we are dealing all with the masters. We master is actually is original source code. You should not keep modifying them. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna create a branch, create a sub branch, and merge with master. If you do this, then we're good with the development. So sub branch is what? It's something like your own user story. Like say 5 of the peoples we are having. So you got one story, let's say 001. I got one story 002. So the couple of people will have their own branches. So branches would be created from the master, and you start working on the code snippets that whatever the code logic you want. And later on the branch that you're going to merge with the master. How are you going to merge with the master? So you create a branch. Generally, what happens is the branch would, after you complete it, go for approval, and then so you do a pull request. Actually, the branch someone has to do a pull request. So post they're approving, they would try to merge it. Approval, then we merge with master. If no man is there to approve, we ourselves has to say that okay, merge the master. Who does this? Is basically who does a code review? They do it. This. Right? So branch one is this often we try to create, and then we do a pull request. All the branches done. What you do is you push to um, branch. We are doing code locally, and you are pushing it to Git. So this one, and then someone you are asking them to do a pull request. They do code review, and then they merge with master. So currently we are all dealing with the master, right? So master is the one which is like a main project. You should not go often them test them. Multiple branches like user stories you have, you are trying to develop something independently, and then you're finally approval, you are trying to merge with master. That's how it should be. From lower to only I have to go to higher. Okay. See all that 14 minutes it says, right? Come back to here. Okay. Stage changes. Staged all we have. deploy to master. So I'm going to click on this commit. So all these changes that we have to push it to no master. What does this A indicates? It is added. That means new file it's going to add to that particular project. So why we have this many is because this is the first time that we're pushing this project to there. At initial stage, what I did is I didn't have any project being sourced, and then we did directly pushed out. I think our org is clear. So it says it has been pushed there. So let's come and check whether we have been pushed or something. So Manifest, sorry, Force app, LWC, I don't know. Still it is running in the background. See, updated 2 minutes ago by Kantraj. That means master we had tried to update, it has been done. And the master branch should have all the components that look at this 2 minutes before we have been updated. Deploy to master was the command which I did given. So let's come here. If we go here and then check, so have a bunch of classes we have. The recent go was okay. Come here. So if you click on classes, so these are all the classes that we have applied here. Okay. So that way we have a what is it? We're done with our pushing the components from our VS Code to. So it is all having no any changes. Look at this, changes 0. Something you try to create or modify, it makes a change here. So let's do one thing. So let's go to file here. Force app is already been tracked. So I go to the classes, ABC class. I'm gonna do system.debug. Hello. Since ABC I modified the class recently, there's a change in this R, a change in this file. Look at this changes files has been displaying here. Any change that you do it, you wanted to push to your source or you're asking. So the difference is this. It says previously you had this and now you have this. So this is basically Git feature it is. So I'm gonna add the stage. So look at this. This particular snippet is not even present in your server, Apex server. You didn't push it. You have to push this to org, and then only you have to do this stage changes to. Let's see. First, the org has to be deploy the source to org. Why what happened? Okay, some changes which is made here, which is impacting, which is not our original impact classes. Oh, look at this. Hello. So deploy this to source or so it is deployed to the source or fine. because some mistakes in this. Fine. So we're able to modify the changes. So some recent context I changed it. So this is the latest class we have. So we're going to possess this. So why we have to come here? So you were here actually. You're trying to modify the stuff, and why have to come there? So that is basically you have a change there that has to be pushed to your Git repository, which is still missing. And I say latest code change. I'm going to do this code change. Click because changes I got it here. Add stages means stage will go to the where you wanted to push it. If it is displaying changes means it is yet to push to the Git repository. If you are in the stage changes, yes, it is there. It always indicates your M, A, all that indicators. You have just modified the class, which has already been put to the Git repository. If it is A, that is something that newly modifying the place. Let's again refresh this. Some ABC class right away, which I did right now. So Control Shift R. It takes 2 or 3 minutes to reflect here because we have pushed this code only. So there's a one small change we did right here. So that we have been pushed here. Okay, now till now we all playing with the master. It's not good practice to play with master. Master is a one-time activity which you do at the very beginning. So then thereafter we have not to do it. Okay, this would come later. We'll see. What we do is let's try to create a new branch and then later we try to merge it. Either create a branch from here or you're trying to create a new branch from the, what is it? Here, anything is fine. So go click here. So create a new branch. So create a new remote branch I'm saying. So this is remote branch I'm saying task 101 something. I'm just giving this name and to where you want it to head to. Um, so this your, who is your origin master? So 7F F7D5CC2. Create a new branch from. So this branch name I'm just giving this something like task 101. And then I'm just matching to this remote origin master. Look at this. Please. It automatically moved to the task 101. Because getting this. So now what you have to do is you have to go to this folder and do some again a change here. So you're trying to push the component whichever you wanted it. So it'll be like having a new separate branch for you. So what I wanted to have is go here in the classes. Let's say ABC class only. So you're trying to what is this? Still it is role class. Okay, no problem. So I'm gonna put this integer I is equal to 10. Select this, deploy this to SOSR. This is all I'm doing the activity under the task 0101. Okay. Um, it's successfully deployed to there. Or so now I'm coming here and adding this changes. Just come back here and check any sub branches we got it. It is yet to push. There's a one place change we have here. New task change. So all the files has been moving there. So I'm just doing git status here. It says on branch of this, nothing to commit. Git push. Nothing to commit, nothing to push. Uh, so we have to learn about few things. Check out. So I've been checked out from this particular branch. Okay, let's do one thing. So let me go. This is a branch we have. Let me create a task 201. So new branch I'm gonna create 201 branch from the master. Um, so 201 from the master. So what I'm gonna do is let me come here, go here, and check for. So 201 is yet to come. Um, so something this recent change that you have to make it because you have been pulled there. Some remote changes would be there. So new task has been created. So new branch has been created. Um, Let's wait. This is loading. Let's wait for it. So now overall we have two branches here. Um, the branches, active branches. Okay. Look at this, guys. Origin task 201. So I didn't do this. This has come from their branch. So let me open this. I want to move this back to 20. What is that? 201 and update the change there. You see this? They got changed it here. I had integer I, so it went off. That means what is there in the master that has been pulled here now. Look at this task 01, 201. I didn't do any change here. Look at this, guys. I didn't do any change. I'm just pulling from task 201 here. So what I did is I went to a master branch and here I tried to create a new task. This is all the tasks that could be which you are working under. So 201 is some story, 101 is some story. So the moment I tried to create a branch, I wanted to just look it for the local. So when I was looking for the local, it was then there in the origin slash task 201, where it is from in the coming from the remote branch. But this task 01 is not been tied to the origin, so that's the reason it's not been pushed back to there. So I created from there. Okay, go create from the origin branch. From there, we able to see this task 201. It's getting. And now let me try to do some change here in this particular branch, and I'll try to um, push this change there. Integer I equal to 10, and then print this I here. Hello plus I. Okay, there's a small change that we have. I'm just pushing this to R and deploy this to source R. Fine. Because in this branch currently I'm working on. So there's a change of this ABC class we did it. So it has come to the change here. I'm doing a staging activity here. So this is basically trying to add this particular file to this, and we have to add a message there. Task 201 changes pushed. It's a commit message we're sharing there. And along with this, I'm just going to click on commit. So this is an existing class. This is the new changes that we're doing it. It has been modified, and finally we see. Let me wait for this. It's been pushed. Changes have been out here. Let's see the changes have been found there or not. Let me move to task 201 and go to specifically to this and the classes ABC. So we are expecting it will come here because that is only purpose change of the class that we did. because we have committed the database. Let me see that is going to push it. Look at this. ABC task 201 pushed. I should do a commit activity there and then I should push it. So only then the latest change I can see here. Integer equal to 10. So prior to this, this was not changed here. And this would not be there in the master also. If you go back to the master, so in the master for the same class, I don't have it. But for the same class, if you come for in the task 201, I have modified some changes. This is how you think they're asking you to modify some snippet and then you're working on it. So you have a separate task for it. You're just working on it and you're modifying the classes. Then you say, okay, done. And you're uploading it back to the or updating the change, whatever that you did it here. Okay. So the task changes we got it here. These are recent changes. Now what we have to do is we have to do a pull request. Why? Because someone has to approve this, and only then you can what do you say? Someone has to approve this. Only then this change can be merged to master. So compare and pull request. So I'm just saying who would be the reviewer. If at all any reviewers are there, you can choose them. You can have at least 15 people to review this. Who are assigning? Who are reviews? Basically, some of your managers could be. If you have this, you can able to merge the master. So I'm creating a pull request now. So onto this particular activity, someone can go comment the code. Hey, this code is not correct. This code is having some issues. So he can do a review on that code. And then what to do is finally, if he says approved, so we come here, we create merge pull request and create a merge commit. And we say close the pull request. Logic is good. Commit and close the pull request. So once you close the pull request, so what happens is close with unmerged commit. Sorry, this is closed, but we didn't merge this. Let me quickly check in my LWC class, CBC class. So there's no change here. So this, let's try to reopen the pull request. So we have to do rebase and merge. Rebase and merge. That means it will try to merge to the master. So merge to master. First initially, yes, of course, create a merge commit, you did it. Fine. Next thing is you have to say that merge to master. Close with comment. Again, I think we're giving comment, but we're not. So let me try to reopen. Merge pull request. Yeah, confirm message. So now it has been merged. The pull request actually merged and closed. So what we're doing is there is a pull request, right? So we have to just go click on merge the pull request. Only then it will merge to master. So we didn't delete here, so we can reopen anytime. If you don't want this branch successfully done and your task has been closed, you can delete the branch anytime. It says unwanted memory occupies there. So now let's go to the master and see whether the change has been merged there or not. So classes and have ABC classes. So yeah, so this is the one ultimate any project current trend of this will have all this stuff. So just a quick recap what we did. Firstly, we have authenticated these VS Code to our GitHub, and then we signed in there, and then we should already have a GitHub so to how to send in all this activity you have to do it. So make sure you're trying to create a branch. Make sure you're trying to create a token there, and then your VS Code is been signed in to Git. So create a repository. So something like they would ask you to would like to create a repository as you said. Later on, we can make changes to public. Now, what happened is so the project whichever you already created, so you can no pull them all push to one time to the master. So later on sub branches you have to create like say task 001 202 I have just created. So then what I did is so based on the task, what will we have the latest change, what would we push? It's whole bunch it is going to the new task. That means you are working on some logic that could be changed and then you're pushing there. So then you create a pull request. You choose an approver. So approver could get an email and saying that he will do verify the code which you've written. He reviews that. And once all has been success, he would try to close the pull request and says he's approved it. So now you have to do is you have to pull the merge pull request and you have to pull to so your request has to be the subtask which you worked on. That has to be merged with your master. Only then the whole purpose will solve. In meanwhile, what happened is you have a track of history. So whatever that you pushed. So you can have a track of histories where what has been done in the past. So task 001 changes pushed, latest code changes pushed, deployed to master. Then look at this. First, this one we have been created with 201, and then latest code changes we did it, and the task 01 just pushed. This is the last thing we have to do. So every changes that you do, everything has been recorded here. So that way we'll get to know what are the recent changes, who is pushing what, all we'll get to know. Now you want to see the changes. Look at for this. At the very beginning, we didn't have anything called as at the rate. And again, when you come back here, so you see the latest change which you have. So which has these are the three new lines added here. If someone want to give a comment here, they can give saying that please remove these system debug. Like people who are giving comments, system debugs in Apex class. So having saying debug is not statement, add a single comment here. So that way, people who are working on to this particular logic of this class, who is giving a review, he'll get to know he has given us some statement here. Our system dot please remove system dot debug. Now what you do is, as another kind of developer, you do it fixed this issue. And what it does is, he tried to approve the state and then close it off. This is where I'm trying to give a review, where when it is going to assign to some person who did a pull request, for them it will be approved, like accepted changes and then they approved it. So I'm saying that please remove this. Someone says that yes, it is done, successfully done. So maybe there's a button called as done and resolved. So you're raising an issue, he is resolving something. So like this, we can see the comments and other stuff for each and every history which is there for part of the task that has been created. So from the very beginning, it was nothing having a system debug. Oh, this is a whole bunch which has been deployed there. And then the latest code change only for the specific thing. And then only for the ABC class we have been modified. So we're able to successfully create a branch and merge with master. And locally we have pushed branch 201, you can say, code locally and pushing to git, pull request also we did, upload code also is done, and later on merge with master also is done. So merge the pull request or merge with master, this is all the same statement that we have. So how do you use repositories and how do you push your code to repository? How do you merge to masters? All that we seen here today. So I think tomorrow class would be based on typically on to the what is that? Okay, CPQs and some communities to talk on. Otherwise, we have done with the entire course syllabus. So whatever we have been said at the very beginning, so we have been done with it, everything. So 2-3 pending activities. One is about the advanced LWC, and another one is test coverage. Part 3 I have to take it because for integration another service we have to do it. One test coverage. I think by max by Monday or Tuesday we'll all have these videos ready by your YouTube. Okay. So I think we've done with today. So shall we meet tomorrow?
Okay.
So Kumar, did you get this point? Like how we're trying to do a git and push the code. So okay with this?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So thank you. See you tomorrow.